I'm Gertie Rude, back again in the Sunday mood. Well, here we are, it's Sunday, end of the weekend, start of the new week. Much ado about nothing, and I'm back here with this bleeding what's-it. Sleeping apart, consulting divorced lawyers, Meghan Markle and Prince Barry, marriage trouble revealed, here we bloody go, like a hamster on that never-ending wheel. So we're back at that one again. The Markle can smell, well, she can smell money a bleeding mile off. Honest to God, you could hide in a bleeding bush and whisper money and she'd hear you from Monty Shit Show. Anyway, Markle is said to have even started to... You know why? I'm telling you why. Because being a narcissist, they don't ever read the room and they basically smell their own flatulence, don't they? And it's obviously... She's made this and everybody's blown a load of smoke in her direction. Only people that you know are around her. And isn't it made the number 2 list on the Netflix something or other? Hate watching probably, but don't tell her that. So yeah, and now, well, she's on the up now, isn't she? She's on the up. She's an A-lister. She's a list with an A on it. Yeah, she is. Probably got an A and probably an R and an S and an E and an H and an O and an L and an E as well. Because the Markle, she doesn't like to be too understated, does she? She's probably got a whole load of letters. So anyway, this is it now. She thinks that she's on the up. So they've been sleeping apart. Well, if you call sleeping apart Gary, whatever his name is, staying in a hotel in Los Angeles, yeah, that is kind of sleeping apart. And from what we hear, she lives in a condominium somewhere. Where the children live, nobody knows. But when she made her lifestyle bleeding load of old hooey, oh, look at me, I'm in bleeding kitchen, I'm cooking, I'm making things, look at me cutting things up, I'm cutting things up, I'm cutting things up, look at me, I can cut things up, oh yeah, and I can behead any manner of poses, yes, and flowers, oh yeah, and wildflowers, hedgerows, you know, darlings, I can behead them, live for you on my cooking lifestyle bleeding channel, whatever it is she does. Anyway, so now, she don't need Barry. Do you see what I mean? She's, kitching. And I think we're going to discuss it here. Let me just check with Dan Wutan. So, should we jump in?
A hefty settlement, and to keep her royal title. She won't go anywhere unless it's with a title, property, and a huge sack of money. Meghan will make a deal to protect herself.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
Tasha is with me now.
Yeah.
This is astonishing, but remember, it comes just weeks after that Vanity Fair bombshell that Meghan is already shopping the post-divorce book to publishers.
Well, we heard that. We've heard that, haven't we? That's according to Taz, isn't it? We've all heard that, haven't we? Just imagine if a certain other woman wasn't such a bitch. Her too could be like Colton and Tasha on Dan Wootton. I think that's why they get jealous, them lot over there, in the cesspit. They're just so jealous. They're so jealous of people that aren't them, really. Instead of working on themselves and maybe making themselves better people, they just like to sit there and slag everybody off that is successful. Like Taz, like Colt. I mean, you know me and Colt, but he don't deserve the way he gets treated. Men like him, I'm never quite sure do you know what I mean, how to take him. It's not his fault, it's mine. And I've always been like it. They just... We'd be like two ferrets in a sack, we would. Because I speak as I find. So does he. And I've got an Irish grandmother. And I think he's probably got an Irish grandmother too. So that makes us both sort of Northern Irish. I'm from Ulster. Yes, well, not me. But my DNA was. So we're going to, it's never going to end well. But he doesn't deserve all the hatred he gets. Nor does Taz. But look at her here. I think, is this GB News? Oh no, it's Dan Wootton. Has Colt been on Dan Wootton? Well, I've seen him the other day on GB News, wasn't he? Sure, I saw him on GB News. Anyway, it seems like they get the phone calls, don't they, Taz? They get the phone calls. Their victims get the phone calls, you see. People want them, whereas other people, certain people who I won't name, don't get any phone calls. Anyway, I'm going to do a load more parodies soon as well. It's just, I've got a few things going on in my world at the moment that's a bit awkward. I've got a house of, what was it? A house of, I suppose, a plague house. Yes, a plague house we've got at the moment where everybody in it is ill. Everybody. Viruses everywhere. Everywhere you go. You can't do anything in my house without getting a virus. Honest to God, it's like catching. So yeah, I think a load of people have got viruses. So anyway, back to Taz. Taz is here. She's looking scrumptious and lovely. Dan is looking like Dan. He's looking, well, want to mess with him. So, and the Marklet is getting a divorce, we are being told. She's not. She's full of hooey. She'd be nobody without... Oh, hang on. Oh, she's nobody anyway.
Yes, I mean, we've had articles come out ever since that they got married. They'd last a year, they'd last 2 years. But I think it's really ramped up over the last, 6 months, maybe less than that. I can't remember when we had the first expose by the Hollywood Reporter. God. Swiftly followed.
We all know that's a load of old hooey. I think she got him over there and got him on some heavy antidepressants, what only you can get in America, which I'm not going to say. Because he always looked out of his head, but not in a good way, if you get me. He looks like he's always permanently in a bad place. And yes, yeah. She is the poster girl of her generation, of that particular type of women. Not for a minute that all of that generation's women are like that. But there is a section of that generation's women that are her. And as I've always said, she's the poster girl of it. Go on, you menace.
By the people that work
hello, look at me.
This is not speculation.
Hello, she flies like a bird, she's so high in the sky. Look at it. What's that? I don't know. I think I've nicked Gertie's bloody shower curtains again. Shh, don't tell her.
These are not royal experts or royal watchers that are speculating on social media. These are actual people that know them.
Oh, real people, Taz.
And I believe the divorce book to be true.
Stand away from the real people, Taz. Stand away from them, because obviously they've got the knowledge. They're the inside people. When you say that they're the real inside people around the Marklet that's now letting it be known that Marklet wants a divorce because she's going to go ka-ching, ka-ching. Do you think, all things being considered, do you actually think that the person who's letting it out the bag could actually be the Marklet? Do you get me? Because I can't see anybody else. Then basically she's got no friends, has she? You know.
And I can't help but feel that they do look very strange when you have seen them, and there's been an extra big push that Meghan is back.
He always looks like he's terribly bored of her trying not to slip into a REM sleep, or he's frightened of her. He's on the hot coals, walking on eggshells, is looking at her nervously as if saying, "Have I said something wrong? Did I do?" You know. Whereas really he needs to assert himself. He's just such a beta cuck, isn't he, that man? Anyway.
Honeymoon phase with Harry.
Shut the flip up, Mark. That's what you want to say. You want to say, listen here, you, I'm a bloody royal. Okay, you want to take me on, geese? Let's go, geese. That's what I'd say. I'd say you're not getting anywhere. Listen up. You'd be nobody without me. I found you nowhere. Sluts or something or other, D-rated, nobody had heard of. No, and everyone blows smoke up you like it was the best thing since Crossroads, and Crossroads was naff. So, you know, you might have pulled the wool over his eyes, and you can fool people sometimes, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time, Mark Clear. And to be fair, you've never fooled most of the women in the globe, like, ever.
To go down, you know, there's photos that were of the Invictus Games when they didn't realise the cameras were on them. The moment that they realised, right, okay, game face on, it's all smiles and kisses and lovey-dovey. But the reality seems to be very different. And that picture you showed me earlier,
right,
with
Baldy Barry,
with Paula M, that had pointed that out. Yeah, he does seem.
What is she doing with the grabbing? She'd only grabbed me once. She wouldn't grab me again. I can swear to God that. Can you not go around grabbing people? It's like, oh, it's a culture thing. American. No, they don't. I know a lot of American people. They don't grab you. I mean, Johnny Depp's never grabbed me. I'd like him to grab me, but you know he never does. I mean, I've tried to get John Travolta to grab me, but he don't walk the same, side of the road, so it's impossible for him to reach me. So yeah, but grabbing doesn't know. It's just literally the Marklet that grabs. Grabby, grabby, granny.
He just seems disconnected. He seemed very disconnected here. He seemed disconnected at the Invictus Games, and he just, there's something about him.
What's she done to her nose? Oh my God, what's going on? What's happening? Oh my God, I can't. Is that AI? The bottom right corner, people watching. What's going on there? I've got my glasses on and everything. What has happened? Talk about bleeding Pinocchio. Well, Giuseppe. Deary me. Deary me. That reminds me of when they used to say to you as a kid, I've got your nose, and then show you their thumb through the fingers. That's what it looks. I always wondered where people sort of decided that putting your thumb through your fingers makes it look like a nose. Voila. You see? I stand corrected. There we go.
In his eyes anymore, he's
a simpleton. Shut up.
Like
No
I
sympathy.
said, he looks like an extra on set. He talks to her, and they have a laugh, but there's just definitely something missing with Harry. He does seem like
I'll tell you what's missing with Harry is barnacles. She wears them as a necklace. That's what's missing with Barry Barrington. And always has been.
As it were. So seeing all of these stories now circulating, the more they try and push their love story, the more it looks like I think that there might genuinely be issues that are becoming bigger and bigger between them.
Yeah. Oh, indeed, but the thing is, he is trapped.
I mean, the thing is, you knew that the minute Drew Barrymore was obviously prepped up and scripted to on the oh, thing is, you're so hot for one another. I nearly, God, I don't know how I kept my dinner down. Do you know what I mean? It was nearly like Mr. Vomit Man from Viz. Do you remember? Is it Viz with the Vomit Man? Oh dear. Really unbelievable. No one wants to think of that old bleeding middle-aged old thing because she's a lot older than him. I don't want to hear that. Oh, she's 42. She's 42, so am I, bleeding menace. She's rocking 48 in August. I keep telling everybody and nobody will hear me. You've only got to look at it to see it's 48. I know what I'm looking at. I've been 48 and I've also been 42 and there's a big gulf between them. 42 you can get away with 36. 48 you can't get away with 42. Do you get me, capiche? Especially... And not only that, she's had all the cosmetics in the world and the surgery. And she still can't get away with it. If anything, it makes her look more her age, not less her age. It's like bloody Jocelyn Wildenstein. Go on.
There is no
not you,
easy
Taz,
way
darling.
out,
Sorry,
because
Taz.
remember, even though he wants to spend more time in the UK, he knows full well that if he goes through with a divorce, there's no taking the children, and that was always the sinister reason why she was so desperate
to get... yes. Oh, she knows a bloody meal ticket when she sees one. But there will come a point when the children are in law able to say where they want to be themselves. So the ball won't always be in the Marklet's court while they are of such tender years, maybe. But as they get older, I mean, I know it's in Britain, it's 10. But I think even before 10, you can see the judge in chambers and he can talk to you one-on-one and ask you where you want to live, sort of thing, you know, which never happened in my day. Sadly, it never happened in my day. But nowadays it is a thing in the Children's Act. They can actually, and the courts have to listen to the children. Once they, I think they try, under the age of 10, they try to do the best for the child. But it's very much obfuscated by women like this, because the kid isn't always, just because you're a woman, it doesn't mean that, oh look, you're biologically able to give birth, so you're going to be a pucker mother. Like all dogs are pucker mothers, like all cats are pucker, like all sheep and all farm animals are pucker. Some of them are bloody brilliant, some of them aren't. And it's the same with humankind as well. And a lot of us were blessed with the ones that weren't. So, you know, I pity those children. They deserve the whole world's pity, they really do, because they will be a pawn now. They were a pawn, they were born, well, even when they were in bleeding petri dishes, they were pawns, weren't they, darlings?
These two, even though they remain in the line of succession, that's a whole other story. I don't think they should be, but there you go. Even though they remain in the line of succession, she was so desperate to get them to California, have them be raised with little American accents as she can.
Bullshit, it's not that at all. She's never with them. And she did a kicked party on that stupid lifestyle thing. Like I made, like I said, you know, she didn't actually do any cooking. Any point there was to actually do some cooking, she'd bought it in. She had some pretzels that she took out of one plastic bag and put them in another plastic bag and called it bloody stylish. I mean, the woman is she's the melt. She's absolutely unbelievably... it's tedious watching her. It's cringy watching her. It's tiresome who she appeals to, because I don't think she even appeals to her own set. They all looked absolutely beyond like a nervous breakdown on the last shot, because I had to go through it where I reviewed it. And the very last shot, when she walks down between the shrubs in her bleeding stupid my shower curtains, you could see her people that she was walking towards. They looked like they'd taken the shot 8, 9, 10, if not more times, and they all looked like they were really hoping she'd get it right this time so they could cough home. Do you get me? They looked like they might be on the verge of tears as well. Poor old darlings. And cheap wine. You see the cheap bleeding plonk she was serving as well. Oh, woman's a menace. Go on, she's so facile.
They were to Drew Barrymore earlier this week. So I think he is in trouble. But what is fascinating is, look, there's a drumbeat of these reports. Remember, the Mail reported just a few weeks ago that Harry was back in touch with a lot of his friends who he had previously iced out, talking about the need to reconnect with his past. And Harry would have read that Vanity Fair article. He reads everything. And no matter how many reassurances Meghan may have given him that she wasn't shopping a post-divorce book to publishers,
I think he would have known. I think he would have known. If he hasn't caught on to what she's like by now, even though he is younger than her, and probably not as well, intellectually up there, and because she has a certain type of intellect, but it's not educational intellect. It's crafty, manipulative. It's all those sort of types of intellect, which is an intellect in and of itself, but it's probably an unworthy one. And then the miraculous thing is, I've heard, I think Dan says it later on in the interview, that she knows without Barry, she's going to go back and be a Hollywood A-lister. Yeah, pull the other one.
He's not stupid when it comes to the media. He knows there's no chance Vanity Fair is going to run that story unless it is copper-bottomed accurate. So once you learn that you're...
No, because she's done a job on him, Dan. She's really done a job on him. He probably... if she said during the day that the moon was shining, he'd believe her. You just do to keep the peace, even if it's superficially, and then you fight yourself and think, well, it must be true, and they wouldn't lie to me, and all this old hooey. Just rubbish. He is a captive. He's always been a captive. I'm bored. I expect you're bored too. Come on, Dan.
Doing that, Tash, surely that's when you start to feel a little small.
Yeah, I'd imagine he's got to be thinking at the back of his mind. It can't just be a smear campaign orchestrated by my family all the way over in the UK now. And that's the line she's always pushed, isn't it? She's always been a victim that she sells to the media.
But that's a narcissist for you. Narcissists are always the victim. That's how they get by, on the victim mentality. If you dare to stand up for yourself to them, then all of a sudden you're the bully. So you're on a hiding to nowhere with people like that. The only thing you can do with people like that is leave them in the water and just go. Just shoot them down, leave them in the water, metaphorically, obviously, and just move on and run and never look back, really. That's what you need to do.
But this is, like you said, the calls are coming from inside the house this time, and it's getting very, very real, and I can't help but feel that he is beginning to realise that he misses his old life a lot. It must wear down on him. I mean, ego was part of the reasons where there started big tears in childhood.
I think, Taz, darling, I think if he turned up like the prodigal son and it was real, you can tell the difference when it's a family member, whether it's actual real or they're just doing it because they've got nowhere else to go. I think the royal family would throw everything legal-wise to support him. And I don't think it would be as clear-cut. I really don't. No, I don't. And I think the fact that they are his children, so, and Trump wants to get rid of him, I don't know. It's hard to tell,
marriage, and you are seeing it all play out over again. You can see that Harry's taken a step back, the way he looks at her sometimes, even when they were in Nigeria and Colombia, when Meghan's talking, you can just see his brain slowly but surely is beginning to process, this may have not been the best decision that I've made.
I think a lot of the time when she starts flapping her gums, he just gives up the will to live, doesn't he? Like we all do. And we don't have to live with her. Can you imagine the hours and hours and hours of hooey he's had to listen to from that old sketsy?
My life, but his ego is never going to allow him to admit that. So I wonder how this is going to play out and how long it's going to drag on for.
Yeah.
Well, look, she has absolutely been on one hell of a publicity campaign when it comes to Harry using With Love Meghan on Netflix, using the promo tour to...
Because she thinks it's been a resounding success, doesn't she? I mean, talk about bleeding... Oh, I don't know. She's half crazy. That's all I can think. She's crazy. There was nothing successful about that load of old hooey. It's just nonsense.
Ryan hit back at Vanity Fair. And actually, I think that was something really interesting about With Love that maybe has been it's gone a little bit under the radar, Tash, you might say, because obviously there were so many other horrors. But she was so desperate to use this show to...
Look at them. They all look at them. Oh, it's me talking to everybody again, and all these people here. Was it Paula M that pointed out? Oh, it was Grifty pointed out that Mrs. Doria, what's her name, the mother? She's not Markle, is she? Raglan. Yeah, her mother seemed really sort of short shift with her. She was like annoyed with her, probably because they've done so many takes. That's all I can imagine.
Hit back at what she considers the unfair headlines in the likes of the Vanity Fair article, in the likes of Variety, and
that's the other thing. I'm going to wind it up, but that's the other thing, because she's groomed him into believing that he's ruined her life, because she had this A-lister career until she met him, married him, became a member of the royal family, and then that ruined her life. It ruined her life. Just nonsense. Anyway, I think I've said enough. Let's go. I'm bored. So wherever you are in the world, have a lovely afternoon, evening and night. And Julianne Lewis, I would give them something to think about, wouldn't it? Anyway, right, love you all. Bye-bye.